What's up, Earthlings, and welcome to the Zoloft. Now, I'm about to do a video on something that I never thought I would do a video on.
Correction. You're about to put your big old foot in your big fat mouth because you think you can make a cheap, easy dollar on the flat earth. Let me tell you something, buddy. You just bit off way more than you will ever be able to chew.
And that being doing a video defending the earth being spherical instead of flat. And right now, a lot of y'all are saying, why are you wasting your time with this? Nobody takes these people serious, so. And my question to y'all who say stuff like that is, why haven't you learned yet? How many times does it have to happen where a small group of people can drag a bunch of people into their delusions?
And that is precisely what happened. A small group of secret society, secret handshaking, Freemasons decided to drag a large group of people into their delusions of the earth spinning in outer space around the sun. Since the beginning of recorded history, and for thousands of years, every culture agreed that the earth was flat and motionless. Their maps and cosmogonies may have differed. However, they all agreed that the earth was a flat, motionless plane. Once the Freemasons and secret societies were successful at getting these delusions included into school curriculum as well as taught at churches, children were then forcibly indoctrinated into ball earth belief before they were old enough to be able to ask logical questions and be skeptical of the material they were being taught. Allow me to introduce myself. Howdy, I'm the Flat Earth Asshole. I'm here to destroy your terrible, illogical arguments, as well as your straw man attacks. Now I know you're an ignorant, indoctrinated buffoon, and you don't know any better, which is why you spent 5 minutes researching this topic. And by research, I mean you went to Google and you typed in Flat Earth Debunked. And then you went over to the Flat Earth Society page and you gathered your little ammo and you shot your fat mouth off about a subject you know nothing about. Well, guess what? I'm here to defend the Flat Earth community. I represent the real Flat Earth community. The Flat Earth Society is not where we go for our information. In fact, that is a controlled government site. Do not go there for any information. But we'll get back into that soon. For now, Mr. Alfonzo Rachel, I'm going to take you down, sir. I'm going to knock you down a peg. And when this is all said and done, you might just want to remove your video, because I'm going to make you look really foolish today.
You'd be surprised what catches on with people. Now, a lot of people who believe the earth is flat try to use the Bible to back their claim. And the Bible really doesn't lend anything to the flat earth assertion.
Well there, Mr. Sideways Hat. You must have never read the Bible before in your whole life, because there are actually no verses which support a spinning globe in outer space. However, there are several verses which seem to support the notion of a flat, fixed, immovable earth. Now, I'm no Christian, but I have plenty of flat earth friends and followers who are Christian, and here's some of the verses I was able to dig up real quick. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. Hast thou him spread out the sky, which is strong, and as a molten looking glass? He set the earth on its foundations, so that it should never be moved. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons. As you can see, these verses support a flat, fixed, motionless earth, not a spinning globe in outer space. And in fact, the globe is the foundation for evolution, the Big Bang, atheism, alien seeding, paganism, the occult, the New World Order, and satanic world control. The flat earth, however, as described in the Bible, validates what the Bible says. It's scientifically proven by real observable science. It points to God alone as the creator and blows Satan's deception wide open. If there's anyone sitting there wondering why they might lie, take a wild guess.
But if they attach this to Christianity, y'all, it'll just give the secularists more leverage to say, see how Christianity shouldn't be anywhere near the educational system? A lot of flat earthers don't even believe the Bible. They think that's a conspiracy too, but still try to use the Bible to back their claim, which in itself is a contradiction. For example, they cite Job 37:18, which states, "What's up, Job? Can you join him in spreading out the skies hard as a mirror of cast bronze?" Elihu, who is posing this question to Job, doesn't mean that the sky is a hard dome. Hard as mirrored bronze isn't a good illustration of something that you would spread out. Hard as mirrored bronze ain't like a cloth. The Bible already says that God spreads out the heavens like a tent in Isaiah 40:22, as he sits enthroned above the circle of the earth.
Circle! I know, it says circle. It doesn't say sits above the globe. It doesn't say sits above the sphere. It doesn't say sits above the oblate spheroid. It doesn't say sits above the pear-shaped earth. It says circle. Circle!
Y'all, God is everywhere. And yes, y'all, they did have the concept of what a sphere is.
If they had a concept of what a sphere is, why did they choose to say circle rather than sphere?
They did have a sense of dimensions. The Bible does say that the heavenly bodies serve as signs, indicators, y'all. So if you're looking at the moon and seeing that it's a sphere, and looking at the sun and seeing that it's a sphere, it stands to reason that you're standing on a sphere.
They did have a sense of dimensions. The Bible does say that the heavenly bodies serve as signs, indicators, y'all. So if you're looking at the moon and seeing that it's a sphere, and looking at the sun and seeing that it's a sphere, it stands to reason that you're standing on a sphere.
A sense of dimensions. The Bible does say that the heavenly bodies serve as signs, indicators, y'all. So if you're looking at the moon and seeing that it's a sphere, and looking at the sun and seeing that it's a sphere, it stands to reason that you're standing on a sphere.
So if you're looking at the moon and seeing that it's a sphere, and looking at the sun and seeing that it's a sphere, it stands to reason that you're standing on a sphere.
Really? So according to you, God made the sun and the moon as indicators so that we would know we're standing on a sphere? Have you ever seen the dark side of the moon, Alfonzo? Oh, no, you haven't? Nobody has. No one's ever seen the dark side of the moon. Therefore, you cannot prove that the moon is a sphere. Yeah, that's right. If you can't see the backside of something, you can only see one side. That means you can't prove that the moon is a sphere. Same with the sun. How can you prove that the sun is a sphere? It's so damn bright when you look at it, it blinds you. The only time you can see it as a circle is when it's behind some cloud coverage. When it's behind some cloud coverage, you can see it's round, it's a circle, but you can't say that that's a sphere. The difference between something being round and something being a sphere is a huge difference. An object, believe it or not, can be round and flat. Just like the earth can be round and flat. Let me repeat that. The earth can be round and flat. So this whole notion that things above your head are spheres, so you must live on a sphere. Hey, pool balls are spheres. Does that mean that the pool table is a sphere too? Oh, hey, look, in my kitchen, the light above my head is a sphere. So that must mean my kitchen is a sphere and my floor is a sphere because there's a light above my head that is a sphere. And according to Alfonzo, if something above your head is a sphere, that means you're standing on one. Derp.
Even in the flat earthers' diagrams, the sun and moon are spherical, but not the earth. Now, as far as I can tell, the flat earthers say that everything we see in the sky is inside the dome. Well, that isn't very much of a protective dome if everything that's in the sky that can fall to the earth is already inside the dome.
So I can see you're just going to keep bringing up a dome over and over again. Believe it or not all flat earthers believe there's a dome. In fact, there's no absolute proof of a dome. And the one thing you're yet to mention, which I find far more interesting, is the fact that there could be more land out there. They could be hiding more land, more worlds From us, that would mean more commodity. That would mean resources like oil, gold, silver, you name it. They could all be infinite. Hell, there could be people on the other worlds that don't know we exist. Atlantis might be across the ice in another world. And over in Atlantis, they might have a myth called Earth. That's right, people. There might be more land out there that they're hiding from us. This guy's going to keep talking about a dome all day because he's never done any real research. For those of you who want to do real research, there could be a dome or there could be more land and more worlds. It's interesting as hell.
Oh wait, my mistake. Flat earthers don't believe in gravity. So to them, nothing actually falls to the earth. How it works is the flat earth is in constant acceleration.
Aha! See, I knew it. I knew you were absolutely full of crap. You ignorant, indoctrinated, stupid buffoon. You went to the Flat Earth Society and you got all your information from there, and then you went to the first Flat Earth debunk page you could find, and then you started shooting off your fat mouth to make this video because you want to make a cheap dollar, and you think all your stupid friends and subscribers are going to back you up and everything's going to be all awesome and hunky-dory while you make fun of this group of people who are just too stupid to fire back. We're just too stupid to stick up for ourselves. Think again, buddy. The Flat Earth Society is a controlled disinformation group. Let me repeat that. The Flat Earth Society is a disinformation website run by the government to keep people away from the flat earth truth. What they do is they mix lies with half-truths so they can confuse newcomers into thinking that it's not something worth looking into at all. One of the things they do is they say that the earth rises to account for gravity. Let me make this perfectly clear. Literally zero flat earthers believe that the earth is rising or accelerating or spinning or moving in any way. The earth is not moving, and zero flat earthers believe that it does. The Flat Earth Society is the equivalent of Alex Jones. Alex Jones is the type of guy who will tell you the truth on some issues, but then he'll completely lie to your face on others. He mixes half-truths so that he can keep newcomers to a subject away from the actual full truth of what's going on. It would be the equivalent of me saying on 9/11, there were mini nukes inside the planes. So it was an inside job, except there were mini nukes. Yeah, that's what brought those buildings down. Mini nukes inside the noses of the planes. Because 9/11 was an inside job and George Bush put mini nukes in the planes. See, that would be an example of disinformation. That's exactly what the Flat Earth Society is. It's the equivalent of going to the very first website that pops up and it's saying 9/11 was an inside job. There were mini nukes inside the planes. We all know 9/11 was an inside job, but there damn sure wasn't any mini nukes and there damn sure wasn't any planes. So this is the equivalent of the Flat Earth Society. That website was designed to scare away any newcomers who are looking into the flat earth truth. And their main disinfo argument is that the earth is accelerating upward to account for gravity, which is bogus.
So when you see a meteor, which in the flat earth view, the flat earth would actually be speeding up towards the meteor, which is already inside the protective dome. But yeah, that's right. Flat earthers deny the existence of gravity. And I'm sorry, because in my spherical world, that's where flat earth world falls apart. If there's no such thing as gravity, there would be no point in having a flat earth anyway.
If there was no such thing as gravity, there would be no point in having a flat earth anyway, derp. Says who? That's your opinion. That's a total opinion. There would be no point in having a flat earth because Alfonzo Rachel says so?
According to flat earthers, if the world were a globe, we would just fall off of it. Yeah, y'all, people who went to school in 21st century America still believe this. And forgive me, y'all, I'm not trying to be condescending. And I'm definitely a lot nicer to flat earthers than they are to me. Flat earthers get triggered, man. They do not like it when you make their flat earth quake. Now, I'm not a mathematician or a physicist. I'm just making regular Joe observations here. But by their own premise, I can only see it as wrong. If there is no such thing as gravity, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Nobody would fall off the globe no matter where you're standing on it. Because the only reason why a person would fall off the earth is because there would have to be another body with a strong enough gravitational pull for things to fall off the earth to it. So nobody's going to fall off the earth. Because if gravity doesn't exist, nothing could pull them away from the earth.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me get this straight. According to you, we stick to the earth because of gravity, right? But if gravity wasn't real, we would still stick to the earth because we have nothing to pull us away to fall onto. I've never heard anyone say that stupid crap in my whole life. You're the first one. If gravity didn't exist, we would still be stuck to the earth because we would have nothing to pull us away to fall onto. But gravity does exist, and we're stuck to the earth anyway. So whether gravity's real or whether gravity's not, we're stuck to the earth regardless, according to Alfonzo Rachel. Do you realize how stupid that sounds? No matter what, whether gravity's real or not, you're gonna be stuck to the earth. Because if gravity's real, well then you're attracted to the center. So that's what makes you stick to the earth, because you're attracted to the center. But even if gravity wasn't real, according to Alfonzo, you wouldn't fall off the earth because there's nothing out there to pull you away from it to fall off onto. That's your logic? Seriously, dude? So according to you, gravity doesn't matter because we're stuck here anyway. So in your world, there's no point in having gravity because we're stuck to the earth anyway. At least in a flat earth world, it makes sense to not have gravity. There's a reason. There's actually no point in having gravity or not having gravity in Alfonzo Rachel's world because apparently it doesn't matter. You're stuck to the earth no matter what you do. Gravity or no gravity. You heard it first right here from Alfonzo Rachel, the everyday average Joe who's definitely not a mathematician or a scientist, obviously. And he's not much of an average everyday Joe either.
But you're in luck, because in outer space, there is zero gravity. Flat earthers should be able to appreciate that. That goes along with your view. But if space has zero gravity, that means that space has no gravity to pull you off the earth.
You heard it here first, folks. According to Mr. Sideways Hat, Alfonzo Rachel, there is no gravity in space. None. Zero. Nada. So that means the solar system is held together by luck. Yeah, all those planets are held in their respected orbits due to pure luck, because there's no gravity in space, according to Alfonzo. Hey buddy, why don't you learn how your globe model works before you go attacking someone else's model? A quick Google search would have let you know that gravity causes every object to pull every other object toward it. Some people think that there is no gravity in space. In fact, the small amount of gravity can be found everywhere in space. Gravity is what holds the moon in orbit around the Earth. Ouch! So while you were busy looking at government disinformation websites so you could gather info to attack a model you know nothing about and insult a bunch of people who are actually a lot smarter than you, what you should have done was learn your own globe Earth model, because you obviously don't know how that works. Usually us flat earthers have to teach globe earthers how their model works so they can learn how to attack us properly.
Anyway, you don't need a flat earth. There's no top or bottom to space. But wait, flat earthers don't believe in outer space. But wait, y'all, if there's no outer space, what is your flat earth accelerating through? You know it's got to have some running room, right? Or running space. Because according to flat earthers, what we perceive as gravity is really the acceleration of the flat earth.
The earth is not accelerating upward. The earth is not accelerating downward. The earth is not spinning. The earth is not moving in any way. And if you did any research, you would know that already.
And I think according to them, this flat earth is supposed to be accelerating at 32 feet per second squared. So who knows how fast we're accelerating through this space that doesn't exist. Flat earthers reject the existence of satellites. They reject that an object can maintain orbit by means of velocity. But they believe that acceleration is what produces the effect that we perceive as gravity. But they don't believe that velocity can defy the Earth's gravity. And of course they don't believe that velocity can defy the Earth's gravity. They don't believe in gravity. They don't believe that an object like a satellite can orbit the Earth.
Man, you are so full of crap. There is so much wrong with what you just said that I don't even know where to begin to explain it all to you. You keep saying flat earthers think this, flat earthers believe this. You aren't the flat earther. You don't even know how your globe model works, let alone a flat earth. Why don't you shut up and listen for a minute while I explain it to you? This is how the lack of gravity works on a flat earth.
The earth isn't flat. And by the way, this is called gravity.
Sorry, Mr. Tyson, but you are flat out wrong. The fact the microphone left your hand and fell back to the earth is a product of its weight and density. The microphone is more dense than the air in which surrounds it, so therefore it fell back to the earth. Much like if you were to jump off of a building, you would fall to the earth because your body weight is more dense than the air in which surrounds it. At the same time, you can take a tiny magnet and overpower this magical, mythological force of gravity. You see all these metal objects that should be falling towards the center of the earth? They're actually being overpowered by a tiny magnet. So the same force of gravity, which holds trillions of gallons of water stuck to a spinning ball, are simply overpowered by a tiny magnet. And at the same time, if you fill a balloon with helium, it will rise. It will overpower the forces of gravity. This is due to buoyancy. Because the helium in the balloon is lighter in which the air that surrounds it then rises. The helium can overpower the weight of the balloon itself and rise. If you were to drop a balloon without any helium in it, it would fall back to the earth. But once you put helium into the balloon, its contents are lighter than the air in which surrounds it, and it can then overpower the weight of the balloon and cause it to rise. The fact that something falls and the fact that something rises is due to density and buoyancy, and nothing else. It is actually very simple. Whereas gravity causes objects to fall towards its supposed center of the earth. The fact that the center of the earth has never been proven causes the entire concept of gravity to fall apart, as the deepest any humans have ever dug down is in fact only 8 miles deep. Being we have only dug down 8 miles deep, we have never reached any theoretical core, and therefore the core is just that, simply a theory. Thus, if the molten core has never been proven to exist, then that means the center of the earth has also not been proven to exist. If the concept of gravity is constructed around a supposed attraction toward the unproven center of the earth, then that means the entire concept of gravity itself is baseless and purely hypothetical.
If there's no such thing as gravity, they reject that a satellite can orbit.
Oh yes, thanks for reminding me. Now, if you just shut your fat mouth for a minute, I'd be glad to explain how satellites work on a flat Earth. Alright, let's get to the non-existence of satellites. If you go ahead and Google satellite in space right now, which I hope everyone does, you'll notice every image that pops up looks like a cartoon or a CGI. I mean, come on. Are these computer-generated images or are these authentic photos? They don't look real to me at all. I mean, look at this first image. This is the first image that pops up. That is definitely not real. And then even when you find something that looks kind of authentic, it's like, well, what or who took a picture of that satellite? And where the hell are all the other satellites? And then when you zoom in on one of these supposed realistic looking satellites, it's like, hey, where are the rocket thrusters on that thing? How does it keep itself in a geosynchronous orbit? How does it move around? I mean, how do they control it if it doesn't have rocket thrusters mounted all over it? This thing looks ridiculous. It looks like a trash can floating through space. I mean, how are we to know there's not some stagehand back there holding the damn thing up with a wire in front of a green screen, and then they just snap the picture, add in some earth in the background in Photoshop? And if you were to Google Earth from space, you get the exact same result. You know why? That's because the Earth isn't a spinning ball in outer space. That's why when you Google Earth from space, they all look like cartoons and CGI. NASA can't quite decide how the Earth looks. The continents grow, the continents shrink, they change colors. And it's pretty obvious when you zoom in on these images, you can find CGI-related anomalies such as copy and pasted clouds. Okay, so here is how GPS on a flat Earth works, in a nutshell, and off the top of my head. It essentially uses microwaves as used in cellular communications today, a device that sends a constant signal which can be received by antenna elsewhere. It requires no less than 3 receiving locations or towers. One receiver would be capable of picking up a signal in 360 degrees. So while that single antenna may point to receiving a signal in the direction of the device, it cannot indicate the distance. Should there be 2, a relative distance can be had between both. Should there be 3, that is the necessary number of points to which each antenna can point in the direction of the device. With current technology, it now can pinpoint to within several feet of the device. Of course, it is called global positioning, with the G originally referred to as ground, and unless someone can prove the existence of satellites, then it should still be thought of as G for ground. There are numerous isolated locations on Earth where GPS cannot be obtained, as in mostly the southern hemisphere, which of course does not exist in anything spherical. There are GPS systems built into devices which can be used in isolated areas, providing that they have adequate reception from their cellular device to send and then receive land coordinates from high-altitude, long-range airplanes which circle the Earth. I believe these are only effective when placed at a location until the time when 3 planes overhead can receive its signal and ping back the coordinates. Major cities and population centers are flanked by ground cables connected to towers, hills, and mountaintops, and also a growing number of receivers are placed on as low as 2-story buildings. The low-height antennae are more than sufficient to provide coordinates to the millions of users in these populated centers.
I played hooky from school a lot, y'all, but even I picked up on this. And for the record, I ditched way too much school to be brainwashed by the public school system.
Oh no sir, you are still plenty brainwashed, and it's obvious that the homies you ditched school with didn't teach you any better than the school you ditched.
And a satellite isn't dependent on ailerons and rudders to determine its position in the air, because it's in a vacuum, and it depends on maneuvering thrusters.
Maneuvering thrusters? Yeah, where? Where are they? I don't ever see any thrusters on any satellites that I look at. I see cartoon pictures of satellites, and then the realistic ones like this one here, like Hubble. Yeah, when you look at them, it looks like a trash can. A trash can that somebody's holding up in front of a green screen. I don't see any thrusters, do you? How does that keep itself in a geosynchronous orbit without any thrusters? Unless they're invisible. And here's just one last thing to think about. Have you noticed Alfonzo hasn't presented any pictures of his own of these satellites? I'm the only one producing pictures of satellites. It's to show you how fake they are. The reason he avoided showing you a picture is because they're fake.
But because flat earthers don't believe in satellites, they don't believe that there are any images of the earth from more than 40,000 feet.
But because flat earthers don't believe in satellites, they don't believe that there are any images of the earth from more than 40,000 feet.
Okay, now you've done it. You've done and went full-blown retard on us. I don't usually stoop down and call my opponents full-blown retards, but once you come at me with the Earth is accelerating upward routine, and then you turn around and say, flat earthers believe that there's no images of the Earth from above 40,000 feet. At that point, my patience goes out the window, and I take the low road, and I call you a full-blown retard. Hey, genius, you see this footage from 121,000 feet high? Yeah, us flat earthers send up weather balloons with cameras attached, and we get a flat horizon 30 miles high at 121,000 feet high. We like to gloat about this sort of thing, you know?
Since I reckon aircraft doesn't fly higher than 40,000 feet. Therefore, there are no real pictures from NASA showing a global Earth or its curvature like this picture here.
Whoa, bro, you got a picture to show us? Why didn't you tell us, man? You've been holding out. All right. So that's it? You've been waiting all day to show us that? That's the one proof you finally came up with today, is this picture from above 40,000 feet, which is your proof of a globe? This is what you've been waiting all day to show everyone. Oh, man, I think you should throw in the towel, dude. This is getting embarrassing. That's what you're bringing to the table as evidence. Wow.
But hey, you'll be happy to know that this picture here wasn't taken by one of those non-existent satellites. It was actually taken by an aircraft that can fly higher than 40,000 feet. The SR-71. That's a bad mamma jamma right there. And since y'all don't believe that we ever sent a man to space, you don't have to worry about it. SR-71 pilots were pilots, not astronauts. And such pilots can testify to having witnessed the curvature of the Earth. According to these pilots, not astronauts, the Earth is a globe and it rotates. But I guess they're lying too.
You cannot see the curvature of the Earth from out the window of an airplane. That is absolutely ridiculous. We've sent balloons up way higher than that at 100,000 feet, and there's no curvature. Furthermore, if you were to get inside of an airplane in the cockpit, there are actually instruments in the cockpit of an airplane which are built for flat plane navigation. For instance, the altitude indicator actually shows a flat horizon. Now, when you line the plane up with that flat horizon, you can fly your plane perfectly flat and level across the flat plane. You ever wonder why they call it an airplane? That's because you're flying across a flat plane. They don't call it an air sphere. Hey, I'm flying on Delta sphere lines. Yeah, I'm going to get on an air sphere, Delta sphere lines, and I'm going to fly to Mexico. No, it's an airplane. You're flying flat on a plane. That's why on the altitude indicator, it's a flat level horizon. You line up the plane with the flat level horizon and you fly flat and level. It's really that easy.
And by the way, we can see a curvature to the moon's phases because it's a sphere, like the Earth we're standing on.
And by the way, we can see a curvature to the moon's phases because it's a sphere, like the Earth we're standing on.
Anyone who takes 2 seconds to Google half moon will find that the first picture that pops up is a half moon without a curved shadow line. In fact, if we draw a straight line across the moon, we can all clearly see the shadow is indeed a straight line. Anyone who takes 2 seconds to Google cause of moon's phases can find the actual answer that is accepted by modern science. According to modern science, the moon's phases are created by changing angles, relative positions, of the Earth, the moon, and the sun as the moon orbits Earth. And when and if you Google cause of moon's phases, literally the first piece of information that pops up clearly states, so the moon's phases are not caused by the shadow of the Earth falling on the moon. In fact, the shadow of the Earth falls only on the moon twice a year during lunar eclipses. Alright, so now not only am I having to defend my model against someone who has no idea how it works, I'm also having to teach you your own model about the globe because you have no idea how the globe works. This is getting tiresome. If you can't debunk the flat Earth because you don't even know how your own globe model works, that means I not only have to teach you the flat Earth, I also have to teach you the globe? I think at this point you've thoroughly embarrassed all of your ball believer buddies. I don't think they want you to talk about the Earth anymore. Now sit down, shut up, and let me teach you one last thing before we go. If you try and shed light upon a sphere, it does not light up the same way the moon lights up. This leads me to believe, and many flat earthers to believe, that the moon itself is a light. Somewhat like the sun, the moon is producing its own light. However, the moon's light is different than the sun's light. Whereas the sun's light is warm and golden, the moon's light appears to be cool, cold light, if you will. Here's an experiment that anyone can perform at home, and many flat earthers around the world have done this. All you need to do is take 2 digital thermometers, or any thermometers if you will, and get them to the exact same temperature together. Then what you want to do is put one of them in the direct moon light, and then you want to put one of them under moon shade. So you can do this in a number of ways. This guy right here is using a couple of boxes to get this done. And he's putting the temperature gauge in the moon shade, and then he's also putting one in the moon light. And then you want to go ahead and walk away for a while so that they can change temperature accordingly. Now, the interesting thing that happens here, which many people will be shocked to find out the result, the moon shade will be warmer than the direct moon light. It's the exact opposite of the sun's light. You know how when you're in direct sunlight, it's warmer than when you're in the shade. The moon's light is the exact opposite. When you're in direct moonlight, it's cooler than when you are in the moon shade. So if you are to try this experiment yourself, you can usually see a couple degrees difference between the moon shade and the moon light. This leads many of us to believe that the moon is emitting its own cool light.
And if I drop a feather and a bowling ball together, did the flat earth accelerate to collide with the ball and then decelerate to collide with the feather?
No, that's it. No more. Please, I beg of you. Please stop. 3 strikes, and you're out of there. You've brought up the earth accelerating upward 3 different times now. I can't take it. I can't keep repeating myself and saying that it doesn't move. You've based your entire flat earth debunking on a premise that none of us believe in. None of us believe the earth is moving. If you're going to attempt to debunk the flat earth, why don't you go back and learn actually how it works first? In fact, why don't you go back and learn how the globe works? You don't even know how your own globe works. I feel sorry for you. You've embarrassed yourself really badly and you don't even know it. But your friends, your ball believer buddies, I'm guessing they're going to let you know how stupid you made them look, and yourself. And yes, you are going to lose some subscribers out of this. You are going to get some negative attention. My friends are definitely going to come after you as well. So I hope you enjoy the backlash. Hope you enjoy the flack. You chose this. You wanted to make a cheap buck on the flat earth. Well, this is what you signed up for, buddy. I'm the flat earth asshole. I go around exposing indoctrinated buffoons who put the flat earth in their mouth in a negative manner. And I go around exposing paid liars. I don't think you're a paid liar because you're too stupid. But I do think you're an indoctrinated buffoon and you have a lot to learn. Now, I will gladly take back all the nasty things I've said about you. And in fact, they've been pretty nice. I didn't cuss at you not once, which is actually an accomplishment for me. I will take back all the nasty names I said about you if you admit that the earth is flat and motionless one day, and then you take down your video slandering the flat earth with disinfo. You take down your video and you admit to everybody that the earth is flat and motionless, and I, flat earth asshole, will take you under my wing. I will put my arm around you and I'll say, hey, Alfonzo, Rachel, let's me and you go grab a beer in cyberspace because we're flat earth buddies now. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And now it's that time of the video where we have to get serious for a minute. Let this be a lesson to all who dare attempt to debunk the flat earth with disinformation. This is what happens when a globehead and a flat earther do battle. The flat earth always wins because the flat earth is truth. Ha!